So I'm on the slide that we finished on in the last video, so I'm going to move off of that one. And now we're looking at how DNA controls the cell. So we've got the nucleus that we just talked about. Now if you look on your study guide, because we've got a picture here, I put this picture at the very end, so on page 3 of your study guide, so you can follow along in that picture. We've got DNA inside the nucleus, and then a copy of that DNA is made, and this is going to be called messenger RNA. And then that messenger RNA leaves the nucleus, goes into the cytoplasm, and then that messenger RNA hooks up with a ribosome, and a protein is made. Now that's the very simplified version. We're actually going to be looking at this in much greater detail. But you can think of the DNA as like the CEO who will not leave his boardroom. So he's got to send a messenger out, which is what the messenger RNA is. And that is how the outside of the cell, how like his instructions of the boss are given to all the people outside of the boardroom. You can think of it that way. So the thing I want you to know, I have written it here on the study guide for you. DNA is in the nucleus. That's made into messenger RNA. That goes out into the cytoplasm. And then with the help of the ribosomes, the messenger RNA is made into a protein. So the endomembrane system. Now if you switch back to your first page of the Chapter 4 study guide, you've got on your terms, what is the endomembrane system? So the endomembrane system, you can think of it as the manufacturing and the distributing of cellular products. And the endomembrane system includes all of these organelles. So we've got the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus. In an animal cell, it also includes the lysosomes. In a plant cell, it includes the vacuole. So, but for the definition, think of it as the manufacturing and the distributing of cellular products. So let's talk about each one of these things in more detail. So the endoplasmic reticulum, this is called the ER, but you need to know the entire word. This produces an enormous variety of molecules. Okay, so we've got both the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and we've got the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So why is it called smooth and rough? So if you look at a electron microscope picture, you can see this is more smooth and this is rough. Why? Because there's ribosomes embedded in the rough ER. Now we know what ribosomes do, right? So anything that has ribosomes embedded in it means that it makes proteins. So you can give me as the function of the rough ER that they produce proteins. So now you're on page 2 of your study guide. At the bottom there, we're listing the functions of all the different cell organelles. And you've got the rough endoplasmic reticulum and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So if you just want the simplest thing, you've got rough endoplasmic reticulum makes proteins. If you'd like more details, you can tell me it helps make new membranes. It helps produce proteins that are actually embedded in membrane versus ribosomes that are free in the cytoplasm are going to make proteins that are probably free in the cytoplasm. So this is showing the ribosome embedded into the rough ER, and you can see the polypeptide gets squirted straight into the middle there, then it folds up into a protein, and then it can either stay embedded in a membrane or it can be transported possibly outside of the cell. Now the smoothie R, what is the point of that? You can tell me that it makes lipids, including steroids, or you can do like a story version to connect it to your real life. The smoothie R, the enzymes that are produced by the liver cells in your smoothie R can actually help detoxify some drugs like barbiturates and amphetamines. So you're going to have a lot of these smoothie R enzymes in your liver. As unfortunately a person who is addicted to drugs, their body is trying to help them, and their body will make these enzymes, more and more of these enzymes, to try to break down the bad things they're putting into their body. And then the person feels like in order to reach the same level of high, they need to take more and more of the drug. And that's how you can end up with a drug overdose, because you finally get to a level where your body can't help you break it down. So you can either tell me that the smoothie R produces lipids, including steroids, or you can say it's involved in like detox enzymes, if you're more of a story person than a definition person. Okay, so now we should be done with page 2. So we have a few things left on page 1, and we've got our page 3. So the Golgi apparatus. The point of the Golgi apparatus is that it refines, stores, and distributes the chemical products of the cells. The way I like to remember it, it's a very silly memory trick, is, I don't know with my frozen vocal cord if I can do my Italian mobster voice, but I'm going to try. So Golgi was actually an Italian scientist who first saw the Golgi, so they named it after him. So here's my attempt. Hi, I'm the Golgi apparatus, and I'm an Italian mobster. And you can tell by looking at the cell that I'm this big frowny face, see? So don't mess with me, 'cause I'm the Golgi. And what my point in the cell is to take all the products and distribute them to all my factories, to all my warehouses where I like to store my illegal substances. So if you think of a 1920s prohibition Italian mobster boss, and sorry if you have Italian heritage and I'm making fun of you, sorry. But if this memory trick helps you, when you see the big frowny face, you think of the mobster boss and the Golgi, and that it distributes chemical products of cells, then my silly memory trick has helped you. So our next item on our list is a lysosome. Now these are only in animal cells, and they're basically little garbage disposals. Okay, it's a membrane-enclosed sac. It contains digestive enzymes, and it breaks down macromolecules. Might be like a little baby stomach floating around digesting stuff. If you look, here is a lysosome with its enzymes, and here is a piece of food which remarkably looks like poop to me, but let's say it's a Baby Ruth bar or something. I don't even know if they still make those. So then it's digesting things for the body. Lysosomes can also break down damaged organelles. We haven't talked about this one yet, but this is a mitochondria. So say it's like, I'm old and worn out, so it's going to digest that and redistribute those needed parts. Okay, continuing down our list, we've got a vacuole. So vacuoles can either be contractile vacuole, like a muscle, where it basically squirts out everything that's inside of it, like water, and that's how a protist would move. So these would just all of a sudden contract, empty out the liquid, and the organism could move. Or it can be the central vacuole like in a plant. The one I will ask you about is going to be this central vacuole in a plant. And that we will, so what does that do? This helps, it helps store water, it helps store nutrients for the plant, it helps keep its shape. So any of those definitions would work for me. So this is a review of the endomembrane system. We've got the rough endoplasmic reticulum making proteins, transporting them to the Golgi apparatus. And the Golgi apparatus, which is a big frowny face, he's going to just kind of put a few finishing touches on it, and then he's going to send the proteins on their way. So one interesting thing, I have to go way back, sorry. Boop, 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 boop. Here we go. So how can I remember what these things look like? So we've got the Golgi apparatus, I've already told you. That's the big frowny face. Hey, don't mess with me. Then we've got the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. I had a student who pointed out that to her, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum kind of looked like a bunch of trombones. Maybe if you're in a Dr. Seuss mood, it looks like a trombone. But then she thought of smooth jazz coming from the Dr. Seuss trombones. So if that helps you, smooth jazz. Whereas the rough endoplasmic reticulum, that's the one with the little dots on it. I don't really have a memory trick for that, but smooth jazz from the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And hey, don't mess with me. I'm the frowny face Golgi apparatus. Maybe that'll help you. Maybe you're just rolling your eyes at how stupid your biology teacher is. So where were we? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now we're going to talk about chloroplasts and mitochondria. So these are both involved in the energy supply. So chloroplasts, this is where photosynthesis happens. We're going to do an entire chapter on photosynthesis. So for now, all you have to know is chloroplasts, where photosynthesis happens. Now, what's your big clue as to whether you're looking at a plant or an animal cell? The color green. So chloroplasts are going to be the green things. This is where photosynthesis occurs. This is the mitochondria. To me, it looks like a mandarin orange. This is where cellular respiration happens. All you have to know for this exam is this is where it makes energy. Okay, so mitochondria makes energy. Chloroplasts do photosynthesis. Now, one thing students always get mixed up, beginning students, are that mitochondria are in both animal and plant cells. Okay, animal and plant cells both have to do cellular respiration, which is all about chapter 6. So cellular respiration is basically breaking down sugars to get energy. So we'll talk about that in a few weeks. Now we've got the cytoskeleton. So what words do you have here? Cyto means means cell, and skeleton means skeleton. So it's basically the cell skeleton. So this is going to be a network of fibers. It provides mechanical support. When you have something cool like an amoeba, it actually is how the whole animal moves. But not so much in like our cells, but with the cytoskeleton is involved when we start talking about reproduction and copying of cells, making duplicate cells. So this is showing you how, I'm trying to finish here in 6 minutes. This is showing you how an amoeba moves by changing its cytoskeleton. Okay, our very last words we've got on the first page. You have to go back and get cilia and flagella. So cilia and flagella are motile appendages. That means like a flagella helps a cell move, You probably saw this in the microscope lab. In a human, this is how sperm swim. So the thing on the end, the tail, is called the flagella. Now you can also get, instead of like this long tail that helps it move, you can get cilia. Now cilia are much shorter and they move in a coordinated fashion back and forth. You may have seen this on the microscope day when we looked at the protists. I'm sitting here in my room kind of doing little flappy wings, but that's not helping on this movie. But they just move back and forth. It can help gently move things. We do have cells in the human body with cilia. This is the human windpipe. It is lined with cilia. The female reproductive tract also has some cilia. So if you are a smoker, I hope you are not, but smoking will actually kill these things. They just say, forget it. This is too much. I can't do this anymore. So the point of the cilia in your respiratory tract is to move crap, smoke, anything that you've breathed in that's bad, and move it back out of the body. For smokers, when they're coughing a lot, it's because their cilia is no longer working and they're having to cough to get the crap out of their lungs. So there is one more. There are two movies, Tour of an Animal Cell and Tour of a Plant Cell. I have put those on D2L. You have to download them and then open them as an MPEG. So I'm hoping you can do that. They are very good movies. So if you have any problems, please tell me on Wednesday, and I will see if I can somehow record them and upload them to YouTube. So yay, I made it in 20 minutes. So 2 20-minute movies for the second half of chapter 4. That's not too bad. Okay, I will see you on Wednesday.